Hey, this is Meredith's husband. I've got some SEO advice for you, but I'm going to keep it really simple so that you can understand it, so it makes sense, and most importantly, so you can actually use it. Did you ever do vocal warm-ups as an actor?
Hello. Did you see Theater Camp?
Yeah. Did you do them? Did you like get in a circle and do them all together?
Ma 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 ma. All of us together around a piano.
I'm glad I asked. I just figured we should do some sort of...
Why? Why would we need that, though? We're just talking.
Just answering
Nobody
questions.
else. We're just being quiet, personal. Just you and me.
People do send me questions, though.
I hope so.
That was a pretty terrible transition, wasn't it?
That was pretty much like saying, do you know that the equator is in Ecuador?
Well, maybe not everybody knows that.
Mm.
I do get lots of questions.
Yeah, and we encourage you to
Yes.
to send in questions.
People sent in questions when we started. I used to actually try to reply to them one at a time.
Right.
I did that for a while. It didn't take me a whole long time to realize that was going to be overwhelming. I can't do that for me. Just replying. And actually, a lot of people had very similar questions. So I also realized, okay, rather than trying to answer the same question over and over, I would just like to create something.
That's a good idea.
How's your face?
It just had chocolate on it.
No surprise.
I know. I let you say it instead of me. Okay, so the questions were kind of similar.
Oh, so yeah. So it didn't take me too long to realize I couldn't keep doing that, answering them one at a time.
Okay.
So actually just recently, I launched a coaching community where people can submit those questions.
Oh, yes.
And then I answer them, but I answer them for everybody.
Oh.
So if you ask a question, other people in the community can see the question. They can also see the answer. So if they have the same question, they have the answer.
Ooh. Is there a way, I know that on some, I don't know, let's just say websites, that you can do a plus, a thumbs up, as in, this is an important question for me too. Hey.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
push
exactly.
it up to the top.
Yes. No, that's it. You give it a thumbs up. Yeah. And if questions.
Excellent.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It's pretty easy. It's a little rough around the edges, I will admit. I really just launched it and invited like a handful of people to it. But you can submit your questions there. It's a whole
Except
lot.
a belly. A belly is never rough around the edges because it's a belly.
Yeah, glad we got that in. So if you want to do this, you can go to seiq.io.
Okay, you need to say that again, because for people who may have heard of ADHD, we cannot remember more than pretty much two things at a time. So can you say all of those letters just a little bit slower? So if somebody happens to have a pen, remember those, they can.
What I was thinking is I would actually put the link in the description in the show notes below. So
I think that's a great idea as well. Yes. But what if people forget?
I will also repeat it. It's seiq.io, like SEO, but seiq.io.
.io. What is I-O? EO.
Technically, it's input output.
Oh, like AC/DC.
Yeah, it's a yes, kind of, yeah. Like Google's annual conference is something like the I/O. It's input output.
It's also Improv Olympic. The I/O. You go in the I/O? I saw this great show at I/O.
Yeah, I couldn't care less.
And all the improvisers turn off this pod.
No, that's not true. A good improv is amazing.
Good anything is amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so some example. You might be wondering, oh, that's great, but what kinds of questions do we ask? Or have you gotten?
Yeah. Like, give us some concrete things.
Yes, I'll give you some examples. So
stop.
A lot of people write in and say, oh, what about this? I get this error on SEMrush when I do an audit, and my website is on Squarespace. Now, a lot of things on Squarespace you just can't fix. You cannot do anything about them. So for example, if you're on Squarespace, chances are very, very good you're going to get the issue of like, hey, your JavaScript and CSS files are too long, or they're unminified, or there's something wrong with them. You can't do anything about that. Yeah,
unminified?
Again, see, these are the questions that people ask.
Are those like minions? Unminified?
kind of, yeah. Minifying is like literally, yeah, taking a file and basically taking the spaces out and making this file smaller. So yeah, it's things like that. So people ask questions like that, like, hey, I'm on Squarespace and I can't seem to fix this issue. And I say, okay, well, you don't have to worry about it. Good news, you're on Squarespace. You don't have to worry about it. Even though SEMrush might say, hey, this is a problem, I know from experience that number one, you can't do anything about it if you're on Squarespace. And number two, I have a strong suspicion that Squarespace has a solution in place that SEMrush is simply not recognizing.
Interesting.
So I think that Squarespace is taking care of it so that it will be accepted by Google. But tools like SEMrush are being like, hey, this is funky. There's something wrong with it. So there's situations like that.
Okay.
Same thing on like WordPress. Same thing on Showit. By the way, Showit, lots of people have asked me questions about Showit, and I have never tried Showit. And they've never had before a free trial.
But now they do. We just found
They
out.
do seem to, yeah. Last time I checked, they do have a free trial. So I'm going to check it out.
Last time I checked.
You
and you were
yes.
sitting next to me.
Yes.
Let's just get the
Let's
fix.
Let's be factual. So I'm going to take a look. I didn't want to like pay for a Showit just so I could look at it. But people have been asking me about it. So I would like to take a look. Okay. So anyway, sometime soon I will be taking a look at Showit and we'll hopefully be able to answer more questions specific to Showit. But I have gotten a lot about Squarespace, a lot about WordPress. And they are different. Like you're going to treat some things differently, whether you're on WordPress or Squarespace. Did I say WordSpace?
Yeah, WordSpace. That's a new one.
Yeah, I bet it already exists.
Yeah, WordSpace. Welcome to WordSpace. Yet I digress.
Let's get back on track. Where was our track going?
Sometimes you get questions about.
Yes. So, yeah, the point is that like people.
Okay, let's just say how impressive that is that I remember that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm cutting all that out anyway, so
Please.
It doesn't matter. So, yeah, sometimes, actually, I say more than sometimes, often people write and they are kind of at their wits' end, like, I can't fix this issue. And once they tell me what the issue is, I can just say, don't worry about it. You can't, there's nothing you can do and you don't need to. So for a question, like I want to answer questions like that, but I can't do them one at a time. I can't do them on this podcast because then I'd literally just be
boring.
Yes. Yeah, I would be boring. But I do want to answer them. So I don't want you to be frustrated. Thank you.
That's very kind.
So if you have questions, go to sciq.io. The link is in the show notes. You can sign up for free. You can submit your questions. You can see what other questions people have asked, and you can upvote them so that I'll see them.
Do you know what's very cute?
What?
So what people may not know is we record the video. We record the podcast as videos. Mm-hmm. And when you said it'll be in the show notes, you pointed down.
Yes. I'm pointing
down.
That's
very cute.
Yeah. I probably do a lot of that.
It's very cute.
Do I do air quotes with you? I have noticed when I do Zooms or classes online or something, I use air quotes. Air quotes. Way too much. Way too much.
It's good to use your hands and when you talk.
Anyway, if you have questions, go sign up. Send them to me. I hope I see you there. I'm going to answer your questions. I'm glad we nailed the ending on this one.
Oh, jeez. Wait, is that the whole podcast?
Yeah.
Couldn't you just have said like, hey, I'm getting a lot of questions. Go to sciq.io, put them there, and join the community.
I could have, yeah.
And that's the whole podcast.
It wouldn't have been as fun.
For who?
Jesus Christ.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. We really hope that you find this helpful and useful. And if you do, what you could do for us as a thanks would be to, drumroll please, yes, leave a review. Yes, everybody says it, I know, but it really does make a difference. Take 3 seconds, leave as many stars, say something really nice about what you like about the podcast and maybe why other people would like it. It would mean the world to us, especially my husband. That better? All right, I'm going to try one where I'm not going to be charming.